Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krišna, Hare Krišna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada. Thank you. So thank you all dear devotees for rising early in the morning and coming for the morning program. This is a very, very important part of our day because it sets the foundation for our Krishna consciousness. So thank you for making this effort. I offer my humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas, especially my senior devotees, and humbly request for your blessings that I may be able to do justice to this service of giving the morning class as ordered by my Guru Maharaj and requested by His Grace Ananda Prabhu, our temple president. Thank you all very much for patiently being here and listening. We will now begin. We are on the 8th canto, chapter 10, and we have several verses without purports until we come to 38, which is the verse I'll speak on. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So because there are many, many verses without any purports, I will simply read the English translation and then we will come to 38. Mukund Madhav, you spoke on 26 last time, right? Okay. 25? Right, okay. So verse number 26, remember, this is the battle between the demigods and the demons. So get ready. You're going to see some action here. Surrounding Lord Indra, king of heaven, were the demigods, seated on various types of vehicles and decorated with flags and weapons. Present among them were Vayu, Agni, Varuna, and other rulers of various planets, along with their associates. 27. The demigods and demons came before each other and reproached one another with words piercing to the heart. Then they drew near and began fighting face to face in pairs. 28. O king, Maharaj Bali fought with Indra, Kartikeya with Taraka, Varuna with Heti, and Mitra with Praheti. 29. Yamaraj fought with Kalanab, Vishwakarma with Mayadanav, Twashta with Shambhara, and the sun god with Virochana. The demigod Aparajit fought with Namuchi, and the two Ashwini Kumara brothers fought with Vrishva Parva. The sun god fought with the 100 sons of Maharaj Bali, headed by Bana, and the moon god fought with Rahu. The demigod controlling air fought with Puloma, and Shumba and Nishumba fought the supremely powerful material energy Durga Devi, who is called Bhadrakali. O Maharaj Parikshit, suppressor of enemies, Arindama, Lord Shiva fought with Jamba, and Vibhavasu fought with Mahishasur. Ilvala, along with his brother Vatapi, fought the sons of Lord Brahma. Durmarsha fought with Cupid, the demon Utkala with the Matrika demigoddesses Brihaspati with Shukracharya, and Shanaishcharya, Saturn, with Narakasur. The Maruts fought Nivata Kavacha, the Vasus fought the Kalakeya demons, the Vishwadeva demigods fought the Pauloma demons, and the Rudras fought the Krodhavasha demons who were victims of anger. 35. All of these demigods and demons assembled on the battlefield with a fighting spirit and attacked one another with great strength. All of them desiring victory, they fought in pairs, hitting one another severely with sharpened arrows, swords, and lances. 36. They severed one another's heads using weapons like bushundis, chakras, clubs, rishtis, pattishas, shaktis, ulmukas, prasas, parashvadas, nishtrimshas, lances, parigas, mudgaras, and bhindipalas. Ever heard of these kind of weapons? I've never heard of them. 37. The elephants, horses, chariots, charioteers, infantry soldiers, and various kinds of carriers along with their riders were slashed to pieces. The arms, thighs, necks, and legs of the soldiers were severed, and their flags, bows, armor, and ornaments were torn apart. And now we come to text 38. Please repeat after me. Tesham padaghata rathanga churnitad ayodhyanad ulbana uttistada renur dishakham dyumanim cha chadayan Nyavartatasrik shrutibhi pariplutat Tesham padaghata rathanga churnitad Ayodhyanad ulbana uttitastada Renur dishakham dyumanim chachadayan Nyavartatasrik shrutibhi pariplutat Tesham padaghata rathanga churnitad Ayodhyanad ulbana uttitas tada Renur dishakham dyumanim chachadayan Nyavatastasrik shrutibhi pariplutat Any brave souls? Tesham padaghata rathanga churnitad Ayodhyanad ulbana uttitastada Renur dishakham dyumanim chachadayan Nyavatasrik shrutibhi. Anyone else? Tesham padaghata rathanga churnitad Ayodhyanad ulbana uttitastada Renur dishakham dyumanim chachadayan Nyavartatasrik shrutibhi pariplutat. Ladies? Tesham padaghata rathanga churnitad Ayodhyanad ulbana uttistatada Renur dishakham dyumanim chachadayan Nyavartatata shrikshutibi paripluta. Thank you. So word for word, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Tesham. Of all the people engaged on the battlefield. Padaghat. Because of beating on the ground. By the legs of the demons and demigods. Ratha Anga, and by the wheels of the chariots. Churnitat, which was made into pieces of dust. Ayodhyanat, from the battlefield. Ulbana, very forceful. Uttitha, rising. Tada, at that time. Renu, the dust particles. Disha, all directions. Kham, outer space. Dumanim, up to the sun. Cha, also. Chadayan, covering all of space up to that. Nyavartata, dropped floating in the air. Asrik, of blood. Shrutibhi, by particles. Pariplutat, because of being widely sprinkled. Translation: because of the impact on the ground of the legs of the demons and demigods and the wheels of the chariots, particles of dust flew violently into the sky and made a dust cloud that covered all directions of outer space as far as the sun. But when the particles of dust were followed by drops of blood being sprinkled all over space, the dust cloud could no longer float in the sky. Purport: the cloud of dust covered the entire horizon, but when drops of blood sprayed up as far as the sun, the dust cloud could no longer float in the sky. A point to be observed here is that although the blood is stated to have reached the sun, it is not said to have reached the moon. Apparently, therefore, as stated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, the sun, not the moon, is the planet nearest the earth. We have already discussed this point in many places. The sun is first, then the moon, then Mars, Jupiter, and so on. The sun is supposed to be 93 million miles above the surface of the earth. And from the Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that the moon is 1,600,000 miles above the sun. Therefore, the distance between the earth and the moon would be about 95 million miles. So, if a space capsule were traveling at the speed of 18,000 miles per hour, how could it reach the moon in 4 days? At that speed, going to the moon would take at least 7 months. That a space capsule on a moon excursion has reached the moon in 4 days is therefore impossible. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So, in the 60s, there was this moon expedition going on. And when Srila Prabhupada came to know about it, he watched the whole thing on TV, and he said very calmly and very confidently, they never went to the moon planet. The disciples of Srila Prabhupada were shocked. There it is, on TV, you can see the astronauts, see how they are doing everything. They are floating because there's no atmosphere, there is no gravity, and this thing and that thing, and people were in an uproar. How could Prabhupada make this claim? The whole world was buzzing with the news that man landed on the moon. And all the famous words of Neil Armstrong, one small step for mankind, for man, but a giant leap for mankind. And all over Russia, China, all the big nations were like, oh my God, America put a man on the moon. And actually, it was the Russians who started the whole thing by blasting Yuri Gagarin into space, and then America panicked. And John F. Kennedy called an emergency meeting, and he said, we have to put a man on the moon. If they put a man in space, we have to put a man on the moon. And he managed to get $40 billion for this expedition to the moon, so-called. And from then on, there were concerted attempts to take off into space and put man on the moon, and all these photographs that you see afterwards, and all the moon landings and everything. And what did they say about the moon? There is nobody on the moon. It has no atmosphere. There is no water. There is no air. There is nothing on the moon planet except dust and rocks. And here we have brought back some dust and we have brought back some rocks. So $40 billion for some dust and some rocks. This is what man has so-called achieved by going to the moon. When Prabhupada said that, there was one disciple of his, he couldn't believe. He couldn't believe it. Purushottam. And he blooped, he left. He just, many of them couldn't believe what Prabhupada said, and they left. Today, after so many years, where is the moon planet landing, truth? Because we all know if a new place is discovered, what happens next? They put roads to reach that place. Then they start shopping malls, McDonald's, etc., development, and that whole uninhabited place becomes an inhabited place because everyone goes over there, right? Especially the businesses, because they want to make money, and then people land there, and the whole place gets populated, right? So if we went to moon, by now we should have made million trips to the moon, right? Why nobody went to the moon after that? So Srila Prabhupada said it's a big bluff. It's a big hoax. And many years later, Neil Armstrong himself said, they have cheated us. They sent us somewhere. We thought it's, the moon or something. And he died cursing NASA. So what is the big idea of all this? To distract people from the purpose of life and to pocket a lot of money. Because all people like NASA, they have big, big salaries and big, big positions, big, big name, big, big fame. And so they have to keep up that facade, right? And so taxpayers are made to pay huge amounts of taxes to fund all this nonsense. And where is the real purpose of human life being even talked about? Nobody talks about it because it's all sense enjoyment. And the people in power use their power to get more power, more money, more influence, and the game continues. So when Srila Prabhupada came and gave this information, many people had a very hard time believing it. But those who believed and followed Prabhupada, now we can see what is the truth. The same thing is happening with this COVID scare. Everyone, COVID. If you look at the statistics, there are more starvation deaths, there are more, deaths due to car accidents, there are more deaths due to so many other reasons. But why are we focusing on only COVID? Why? Because there is another game in the back of the powers that be. Control, power, fear-mongering, and getting whole masses of people to behave like sheep. This is called herd mentality. You know what is herd mentality? Oh, if someone is doing it, I have to do it too. And then the other person says, oh, he is doing it, she is doing it, they are doing it, I also join it. And we give up thinking, we give up our reasoning power, we give up our own common sense, and we go with whatever is being told to us. This is mass hypnosis. So when Srila Prabhupada says that the words of the Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam and the words of the Parampara are the only light in this dark age of Kali, we can see why they are saying it. Because those who follow the spiritual master, they are protected from all these attacks by the material energy coming in so many ways. And today the media is very sophisticated. They know exactly what to say, when to say, how to say it, so that people get fooled into believing what is absolutely impossible to believe, actually, if we are using our common sense. But this is the power of the media. But are we going to give in to the power of the media, or are we going to give in to the power of the acharyas? That is in our hands. And there is a beautiful verse. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyaite kathita artha prakashante mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have unflinching faith in the words of the spiritual master and the Lord are the true imports, all the Vedic purports revealed. That means all the Vedic imports of the Vedic scriptures revealed. That means only one who has complete faith in God and complete faith in the spiritual master will understand what is what. And Prabhupada says in the Gita, devotees understand what is what. Why? Om ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. One who follows the spiritual master, his eyes are opened. Right? I was born in the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual master has opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. The spiritual master is situated in transcendence, in the absolute truth. And so, he doesn't waver. He doesn't go by all this media hype. He goes by the words of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. He's a pure representative, a bona fide representative of Krishna, and his words are the truth. So whom do we want to follow? We want to follow all this media hype, or we want to follow Guru? When we follow Guru, we become fearless. If we follow the media, we become fearful, right? Because that's what it is generating, more and more fears and anxieties and worries and tensions and division and hatred and war. And what is happening in the world today? Just look around us. Mental health problems have gone through the roof, especially with this 1 year of COVID isolation and, masking and this thing and that thing and so many things. So many problems. Domestic violence gone through the roof. Kids having so many issues, no school, no socialization. What is happening to children today in the world? So there's a very demoniac plan. Make no mistake about this. There's a very demoniac plan going on to control, to take away, because once they had this COVID scare and isolation and social distancing and this thing and that thing, so many small businesses could no longer function. And the big corporates swooped in and bought off all this at a throwaway price. People were panicking. People were giving up whatever they had for very little. And so huge tracts of land, money, businesses, whoosh, like a giant anaconda viper, swallowed up everything. So the common man is losing his independence, he's losing his privacy, because there's a whole game plan for digitalization. That means you take an injection and some chip is placed inside you and all your information is now on a computer base. Where you go, what you do, how you spend your money, what is your bank, how much is, everything is going to be in their hands. So my dear spirit souls, what choice do we have? We have the choice to follow Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. That is in our hands. And then Krishna will give us all protection. There is no power on earth that is greater than Krishna. In fact, no power anywhere, because Krishna says, there is no more truth superior to me. Right? Matta partaram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. I forget the third line. Sutre mani gana iva is the fourth. Thank you. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani gana iva. Everything rests upon me as pearls strung on a thread. Krishna's power is supreme. So we want to take shelter of the supremely powerful, right? And in this age, how has Krishna come? In the form of Lord Chaitanya. And what does Lord Chaitanya say? Chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare-rama, Hare-rama, Rama-rama, Hare-hare. So when you see devotees, what are devotees doing? Are they fearful? No. Are they joyful? Yes. What are they doing? Singing, dancing, taking Krishna prasadam, reading the scriptures. And Krishna says, I am there where my glories are being sung. So right here, as Srimad Bhagavatam class is going on, we can feel the presence of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Krishna, because this is Krishna's word, that I am there where my glories are being sung. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Verse number 10, 9. Bodhayantascha. I forget. What is it? Machita matagat prana bodhayantascha parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. What does that mean? The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always conversing about me and enlightening one another about me. Thank you. Thank you for the tip. So, devotees are safe. Devotees have no worries. Devotees have no tension. Devotees have no fear. Devotee has no anxiety. Devotee doesn't have panic attacks. Why? He has taken shelter, or he or she or they have taken shelter of Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Ma suchaha. Don't worry. God himself is telling you, don't worry. Take shelter of me. Abandon all your crazy ideas. We don't even have varieties of religion in this age to follow. We just have our crazy ideas and our crazy mind. So abandon all these nonsense and just surrender unto me. I will give you all protection. Do not fear. Just like a child feels very secure and very safe in the father and mother's hands, we can feel very safe and secure in Krishna's hands. Krishna is our eternal Father, right? So why not take shelter of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, be fearless, be at peace, be joyful, and make our way back home, back to Krishna. Why waste time in the nonsense of this material world? Oh, look at the latest news. Oh, this is what America is doing. Oh, now Russia is doing this. Oh, look at this scandal there. Oh, look at that. Look at the oil. Look at... if we keep getting caught in the media hype, that's all we'll be doing, because it's a very powerful force to draw your attention away from the real purpose of human life. So therefore, devotee has to be so careful. What are we looking at? What are we hearing? What are we eating? What are we seeing? What we are experiencing? Are they related to Krishna consciousness, or they are related to things of this world? Things of this world will always be there to distract us. It's up to us to choose Krishna or Maya. Choosing Maya means another birth. Do you want to take birth again? Anybody want to take birth here again? Raise your hands. Any brave souls want to take birth again? No, right? We all want to go back to Krishna. So really, we have to take shelter of this process of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada has given us ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, so that devotees can come together and chant the holy names, encourage one another to become stronger and stronger and stronger in our faith, stronger in our practice, and stronger in our conviction. Do you know what this word means? Conviction? It means being convinced of something. In the beginning, our faith is very weak. We are kanishta. We are only thinking, yes, Krishna is there, and all these other silly folks around me, they're not so intelligent. I'm not going to associate with them. I'm going to keep to myself, and I'm going to follow my guru and come to the temple. But these crazy Hare Krishnas, they are a bit too much. We think like that. And then we start realizing that every devotee is so special that he or she has something to teach me. And I'm pretty crazy myself too. So I need the help of other devotees to get through this sojourn called material life. And we understand the importance of association, because every devotee has so much to teach us if we are willing to learn, that is. And then slowly we are supposed to move out of our kanishta state. Right now we are very kanishta, We have our own hang-ups and our own pride and false prestige and ego problems and this thing and that thing. But through the process of Krishna consciousness, we are supposed to rise to the madhyama stage, where we are friendly to everyone, where we are kind to everyone, where we are tolerant of everyone, and we are fixed in our understanding of Krishna consciousness. Still at that stage, we may not be very able to defend the philosophy, but we are firmly convinced about the philosophy. And then, of course, the next stage is Uttamadhikari, who is completely fixed, who is completely sure of the Shastras, who can defend against any attacks. And that is a very high stage, of course. But at least we must try to move out of our Kanishta stage and come to the Madhyama platform, because this is a preaching movement where each of us meant to preach the message of Krishna consciousness, to save the world, to save others. Because everyone, if you look around, the other day, we were on Harinam. We were all on Harinam. And look at the faces of the people around us. How tense they are. How stressed they are. They can barely smile, some of them, isn't it? And when you say something nice to them, go away. They don't want to hear anything. They're so much in distress, and they don't even know how to get out of that distress. But the holy name is there to purify everything. The holy name has come to purify, to save, and to bring back to Krishna every conditioned soul. And Srila Prabhupada said that all you have to do is follow this process. Be rigid in your chanting of 16 rounds every day. Follow the regulative principles and come back home to Krishna. So we have received so much good fortune, my dear spirit souls. We have been released from the mire of ignorance, of constantly trying futile endeavor to gratify the senses and thinking that is life. At least we have got release from that concept, and we know who we are. We know where we are headed. Why not give this knowledge to others? Don't we think that we should follow what Prabhupada said? Make the unfortunate fortunate. Whatever little bit you know, it doesn't mean you have to be, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav. Whatever little bit you know, share it with others. And Srila Prabhupada wanted this. I remember my Guru Maharaj writing to me in the very early days and saying this to me. Whatever you know, you speak. And Srila Prabhupada wanted that everyone be able to speak something about the philosophy to others. So we want to help others, and we don't want others to be in the same sorry state we were in before we came to Krishna consciousness. And that is why we persist in doing it in the face of great odds. It's not so easy to do what we are doing, you know. So many restrictions now. You can only do Harinam morning, you can only do evening, you cannot take instruments, you cannot take speaker, this, that. So many things. Constantly, you know, our movement is under attack. But we still go on. And we are very confident because this is Lord Chaitanya's movement. Nothing can stop it. This is coming from the Lord Himself. So no matter what others do, we are going to go on. We are going to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we are going to persuade everybody to chant and be happy. Come on, join the bandwagon. Jump aboard the ship. Don't be floundering in the waters endlessly, trying to swim alone against the currents of the ocean of Kali Yuga. Come on aboard. We are throwing down the rope. Hang on to it and come on up. And be with devotees. And chant Hare Krishna. There's a beautiful video on YouTube. It's called Joy of Krishna Consciousness. Have you heard that? You want to hear it? All right, on one condition, you have to sing with me. Come on, let's chant His name. Lord Krishna will be happy. Radharani will bless you and offer you her Krishna Prem. Nobody has any energy. Come on. You really need breakfast, okay? Radharani will bless you and offer you her Krishna Prem. Offer you her Krishna Prem. So let's chant loudly, chant and be happy. Please don't be worried, chant and be happy. And be happy. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's as simple as that. Chant and be happy. And don't say can't. So thank you very much for listening patiently. We can now open up for questions, comments, criticisms, corrections. Hare Krishna.
But I have a question, actually. But I don't want to go in that direction, but I have to, obviously. I got the microphone. It is the Srila Prabhupada is mentioning some numbers in the purport. and one of the numbers is coming from Western astrology, which is the distance between Earth and Sun. So partially he's accepting and using Western method of getting knowledge about our Sun system, about our this situation among planets. So one could say it's a little bit paradoxically, but this number might come also from this Siddhantic. As I understand, there are two models, Siddhantic and whatever, Bhagavatam, or what is the other model, I don't know, but there are two approaches to Vedic. Vedic version includes two approaches, which are somewhat complementary or even exclusive, seemingly exclusive at some point. So it might come from there also, I don't know, but the number, I think he got it from Western scientific literature, one number. So maybe you can, I think we should get facts right. No? We shouldn't just neglect these discrepancies. I mean, because of our own faith. For me, it's not important. I don't care what is up there, really. I mean, I care if something can hurt us or whatever, but I don't care whether it's like this or like that, or I don't really believe in Vedic, these descriptions of oceans and all this. But I don't know what to do. I don't know. Maybe there are in some subtle sense. So there are much more important things for our practice than how universe looks like. But still, maybe, I don't know, people, if you can a little bit comment on that.
First and foremost, I don't know if what you're saying is correct, because how can we make this judgment that Srila Prabhupada got it? Because he is directly in touch with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada even said that I have not written these books, Krishna has written them. He would say Krishna has dictated and I'm just writing. So I don't have any doubts about what Srila Prabhupada is saying, or he got this number from Western astronomy. Or I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I would say that
because I've heard it before, Krishna Consciousness, the number, and according to this number, the light travels 8 minutes from Earth to Sun, and it's famous number. It can make you divide this by the velocity of the sunlight, and you get 8 minutes. So from that, I know that this is the Western number.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I made a mistake, but Srila Prabhupada used that's not a problem. He used advices of drunkard medicine man, which is sign of his humility. It's not a problem for me. It's okay,
Yeah, I mean, Prabhupada took that advice that doctor gave, saying that you need to go for a walk, because he took it that, this is Krishna speaking through this person, Chintamani, the prostitute, told Bilva Mangal Thakur, if you had so much love for Krishna as you have for this perishable body of mine, you would be with Krishna. And he took that because that was the voice of his spiritual master, speaking through that. So we can always be ready to hear from anybody, because Krishna will speak through so many people. But I, personally, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an astronomer, so I cannot comment on these numbers. Forgive me.
You can comment on something else maybe, because it's a little bit connected to this problem. And for example, how much lust should be satisfied? There is, if a devotee asks himself this question, or if institution asks this question, the answer are so unclear in our movement. The best option is none. That Srila Prabhupada says in the lecture, Uttamadhikari, none lust is present, none lust should be satisfied. But what about in between? I mean, this
Srila Prabhupada never denied. He said, well, if you have sex desire, get married and live peacefully and have regular. Yes, of course. We can lust for cell phone, we can lust for car, we can lust for a big house, we can lust for so many things. But then that's the thing. You put fire, if you feed into the lust unnecessarily or in an unregulated way, it will soon become a blazing fire. And Krishna warns us in the Bhagavad Gita, he says to Arjuna, it's lust alone, which is the eternal enemy and which is like a burning fire. So, we want to take heed of the words of the Shastras. So if we are able, maybe because of past pious credits and so on, I can be brahmachari, I say, no, I don't want a married life, then that's fine. You make that choice. But supposing you want married life, then get yourself married and live peacefully with a nice Vaishnavi wife, following all the regulative principles, and gradually you will transcend all those things and you will reach a peace, state of peace, vanaprastha. After which, this is not for everyone, but this is generally the way. See, Vedic system is so nice that nothing is denied. There are some sampradayas which insist on celibacy. I think, Jesuit priests, or some particular one, the priests have to be celibate. Madhva Sampradaya, the priests have to be celibate, pujaris have. But our system is allowing for grihastha life also. But it has to be regulated. Regulated sense gratification means you are not giving in. Srila Prabhupada said repeatedly that human life is not for being like cats and dogs. We are meant to understand the value of this human life. My soul has gone through all the 8,400,000 species of life, and now I have come to human life. How valuable is that? This is the only life which is the loophole through which we can get out of the cycle of repeated birth and death and get our eternal spiritual body, where there is no more birth, no more diseases, no more old age, no more death. So, if we are intelligent enough to understand, we will take heed of the words of Shastra and we will plan our life in such a way that we are progressing towards the lotus feet of Krishna. Does that make sense? Thank you. Yes, Miha Prabhu, we are so delighted to have you with us today morning. Thank you. Please keep coming more often.
Haribol, Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for a great lecture.
Thank you for listening patiently to an old lady rambling away.
It was very inspiring because I am totally agreeing with your thoughts, also about the current situation in the world. My question is, because we see the division in the society, and we can also see the division in the community, I think. So, what should we do? Because you said that we should follow Guru and Shastra, and I'm also agreeing upon the fact that these measures that are now taken upon us are not totally compassionate to us, to the souls. So, but we can see that some of the highly effective people in our community also are following. So
I don't understand when you say that there's division in the community. I don't understand that part. The second part I don't understand is what you said about not following.
No, sorry, yeah, I will take it more clearly. So,
Okay.
You know about taking the vaccines or not taking the vaccines, all the COVID stuff going on right now. So we can see the division that some people are following this path and following the media, as you said, and following the path of what other people are telling to them. And some of them are not following. And also in our community is the same. So how should we act upon it? Because if we have this, because I'm agreeing with you about the statements that you said, but we can see that also some of the leaders of the community are following. So how we can address that? So this is I know this topic is not
it's controversial, but it must be faced and
Yeah.
it must be spoken of. Just yesterday we received an email by one Dharmadas, and he's saying, ISKCON leaders, when are you going to speak up? When are you going to tell the truth to the world? Look at this nun. Just yesterday I received email from my Guru Maharaj about a Catholic Christian nun who is telling the world what is going on. And he says, why are the GBC leaders keeping mum? Why are they just keeping quiet? Why don't they tell the truth to the world? So he's openly asking this question, that when will ISKCON wake up and tell the world what is going on, because this is our duty. As for me, I follow my spiritual master, and I have absolutely no doubts that by following him, I'm at peace. I'm not worried or fearful or agitated or nervous or panic-stricken. Why? Because you simply follow the words of the Guru and you're safe. So many people I know are following their spiritual masters, and they're not falling prey to what the media is saying, what this one is saying, what that one is saying. They have taken shelter of the pure devotee of the Lord, and they are safe. So we want to follow in the footsteps of those who are showing an example by being fearless, by being peaceful, by listening to the words of their Guru Maharaj, because this is, good for us. So I would highly recommend that you take shelter of someone who inspires you, who can be your mentor, who can guide you, and who is firmly fixed in his or her own practice of Krishna consciousness, because we need sheltering relationships. We need friends. We need mentors. And ultimately, we need our Guru to guide us. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I know this is controversial topic, and I didn't want to put you in this situation where you need to speak about it.
I have no difficulty talking about controversy.
Okay.
I don't waffle. What I'm convinced about, I have no hesitation speaking it.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you very much. From my side, I think I have the people who are helping me in my devotee life, and I'm okay situated in the community. But just, I think that this is kind of like bothering me also. That, and I wanted to just express and address it. And if I'm the person who needs to address it, I'm okay with that also, because I think I have more like Kshatriya mood. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of my nature to do it, and I think I will also do it in the future more, mm-hmm. to inspire people to openly talk about it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you. Thank you for taking shelter of Sri Panchatattva, Srila Prabhupada, the Association of Devotees, and through your music, spreading Krishna consciousness. That is truly wonderful. And we pray that you will be an astounding success. Hare Krishna. Anything else from anyone else? Okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.